Welcome to the Sunday morning simulcast with Rom Wills. Things happen in due time. Yeah, you know what? And as you know, I don't promote a spiritual path on here because that's personal to every single person. But one of the things I believe in general, and I have faith in general, regardless of your path, is that things will happen for you when they're supposed to happen, right? Now, without getting into it too deep, there's some projects I'm working on that I meant to get started earlier in the month. But because of some other circumstances that were annoyingly beyond my control, I didn't. But as a result of delaying the start of the particular project, I actually got a better insight onto how I should conduct the project, how I should make it work. And I was like, that would be better, right? That would be better. I'm just saying something I've always seen. It's like if something falls through, it might be you weren't meant to do it at that moment. Like I had a speaking engagement I was supposed to go to this past week, and there was a weird snafu, it was a miscommunication, like one very much beyond my control. But then I thought about it. I didn't really get mad or disappointed, because whenever things like that have happened in my life, you find out later that you might have missed something, right? Several times. I mean, been out of the path of hurricanes, or missed a car accident or something like that because, of some type of delay. Understand something. And this is something I always say, and this is something that can be applied regardless of your spiritual path. Everything happens in divine order. Divine order is always in effect. So, sometimes if you have something falls through or a project, you never know what you might have missed, or you might have missed an accident, or you might be open to something else. How many times have you had a disappointment? Or I'll give you a great example. You driving, right? You driving along. I love using this example. And you come across a detour someplace, or there's an accident, and you go another direction. But then when you go that direction, you see something that's interesting, like you might see a job opening, or you see a cool restaurant or something like that, right? And you find out, oh, this is easy. Like I remember in college, right? I remember in college when I used to go from college to home. I would take the bus at first, right? But then, and it was pretty cool. I mean, anybody's ridden on, the bus between states, they know it's an interesting ride. But then there was a bus strike. There was a bus strike way back then. There was a bus strike early 80s. Right, bus drivers, it was Greyhound, I believe, went on strike. Right, so I was forced to take another way, back to school. I ended up getting into the train, and I was thought about it. It's like, this is actually better, more comfortable, faster. I was just like, oh, okay, so something that would seem like an inconvenience at first is actually turned out something. And in fact, I've always learned that. There was something my grandmother taught me. Always see the other side of the picture, right? Like it could be in relationships, like you fail with one mate, like you don't meet them, or something happens, y'all don't get together, but then a few days later, because of the chain of events, you actually meet somebody who's better than you, right? Or you're prevented for something from happening, right? And that's with anything, like people, I've had speaking engagements like that, and, you always see something, or you had plans to do an event with somebody. Had one time I had a plan to do an event, and because of different circumstances, it didn't happen. But then, you find out later, the person you were supposed to do the event with, I found out later, the person I was supposed to do the event with was, shall we say, scuzzy. And you just like, wow. So you understand, one of the things I've learned with any setbacks is not to get angry, but just to sit back and learn some things. Is sometimes you learn best when there's some type of adverse situation, right? And sometimes you learn what you can do. There's been plenty of times when I have something thrust upon me, which I really, beforehand didn't know I could handle, but then I learned some new skills. And you like figure out, hey, I can do this. Sometimes when you get a bad thing, it's Spirit's way of getting you out your comfort zone, right? You as the Spirit is like, all right, this person's used to doing this. Let me end this. Let me see what's up. In fact, that's how I learn a lot of stuff. I learn how to do stuff. Something happens, it's like, oh, I know how to fix this. You gotta, and one of the things you learn with that is when it happens, it happens. Like, give you yet another example from my own life. I've done plenty of vending. I'll probably do some vending this Christmas, around this Christmas. I want to do a few things anyway, but I'm sitting back, right? I'm sitting back, I'm chilling, right? I'm sitting back chilling, and I'm thinking, like if I'm vending and doing something and it's like I don't get any sales, right? And I've seen vendors get upset, they get anxious, some of them even leave. I've literally been at vending events where I might not have gotten a sale. Like say it's let's just say, just throw out, it's a vending event from like 9 to 6, right? And I've literally been at them from like 9 to 3, right? And not made any money. Nobody even stopped by my table or anything. But then that final couple hours, everybody stops by the table and buys me out. Because it was supposed to happen then. Or I've been in other occasions when it's been real slow, but then I meet somebody, right? I'll meet an important contact that'll take me to some other thing. Always understand that. Don't get anxious, or if there's a setback, sometimes it could have a greater meaning. Because sometimes people dwell on it, or they'll try to make things happen. I think the best way to really express this is everything happens in its season. Everything. And that would be getting into some deeper stuff. But just know this. If you think about your life, things happen when they're supposed to. Right? You'll meet somebody. Like if you pay attention, think about the mates that you had in life. This is a great example. Think about the mates you had in life and when you met them. Like, when did you meet the person that was a great relationship? When did you meet the person that was a bad relationship? And you'll start noticing a pattern, right? Like with business, it makes a big difference when you start something. Like with this project, it was a reason that I was kind of delayed in starting it. Because then perhaps when I start the project, it'll be the right moment, the right time. Timing is everything. And remember, regardless of your spiritual path, this whatever your divine being is, got all of this. And they know better than you would know. So it's like when you stop from doing something, like, and part of knowing when to do that is to follow your instinct. Like sometimes I'll get a vibe like, nah, I don't need to do this now. I feel a certain way, right? It just don't feel right. So I'll be like, oh, I'm going to go with that. I don't feel right doing something at this moment, right? And I always follow that. And to be honest with you, the last few years following that ideal, I haven't had, wow, I can't even think of when I had something major happen. Like, I've had some, like, knowing myself, what I thought might have been setbacks, but it was like, no, that was the right moment. That was the right moment. Always get that little voice to say, hey, you want to slow down, and I follow it. and it's always turned out to work out. So anyway, that's it for now. Y'all have a great day. Peace and blessings. Keep rising and transforming.